Hello and welcome to Haunted Montreal's Spooky Story Sessions. I'm your host, Holly Rhiannon, and today I'm going to tell you all about the ruins of St. Anne's Church. With over 200 documented ghost stories, Montreal is easily the most haunted city in Canada, if not all of North America. Haunted Montreal is dedicated to researching these paranormal tales, and our channel brings you videos in both French and English every second Saturday. Today's video explores one of the city's most haunted green spaces. Nestled in booming Griffintown is a beautiful park that doubles as an old reminder of when the condo-choked neighborhood was once Canada's most infamous shantytown. But before we get into today's story, please remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button so you get notified every time we have a new tale to share. And hey, if you're already subscribed, thank you so much and welcome back. We're happy to see you. Now, without further ado, let's get spooky. St. Anne's Park contains the ruins of a church that bore the same name. Once the bustling hub of the Griffintown community, the beloved church was unceremoniously demolished in 1970 as part of an urban renewal project. Since then, the grounds have witnessed numerous paranormal activities, and many new condo owners are convinced that the park is haunted. According to some of the Griff's new residents, these mysterious ruins sometimes produce paranormal activity. It was originally the site of St. Anne's Church, the social hub of the Griffintown community for over 120 years. New residents claim to have heard solemn church bells tolling, even though the church no longer stands there. In another strange incident, on one foggy October night in 2011, a prospective condo buyer was visiting the neighborhood and claims to have witnessed a ghostly funeral procession on the site of the ruins. He was impressed by a unit in Carré de la Montagne condo building and was walking down de la Montagne Street back to his car when he suddenly noticed movement through the fog behind some of the trees in the park. Peering through the gloom, he could make out 6 ghostly mourners surrounding a coffin in the area where the church used to be. A phantom priest appeared to bless the coffin, at which point several altar boys materialized out of nowhere. Even though the visitor could not hear anything, it appeared as though the boys were singing. When the song was over, the coffin was picked up by the mourners and the priest led the procession towards the exit. Just as they were about to reach the street, the entire entourage disappeared into the fog. Needless to say, this prospective buyer decided not to purchase the condo afterwards. St. Anne's Church has an interesting history. Built in 1854 on the site of an old shrine, the much-beloved church soon became the center of the community. The old church witnessed countless baptisms, communions, marriages, funerals, and masses, not to mention the confessions of many of the sins that occurred in the Griff. Some nights, when all was quiet, a silent figure would slip up to the presbytery, seeking a priest to administer last rites for a family member. Funerals were a very important affair in the Griff, and when someone died, their corpse was collected by Farron's Funeral Home for embalming before being returned to the home in a coffin for the traditional Irish wake. The cramped quarters were decorated with black crepe paper, and often the coffin would have to be hauled up a flight of narrow stairs or through a window of the home. The wake was a 3-day affair and involved a party of sorts between the living and the dead. With the corpse propped up in a coffin surrounded by 6 candles, mourners paid their respects by drinking copious amounts of alcohol, playing music and singing and partying as they paid their last respects. It wasn't uncommon to take the corpse out of the coffin for a last dance around the room. Oftentimes, guests drank too much alcohol and passed out at the wake. A favorite prank in the Griff was to take the corpse out of the coffin and to replace it with a slumbering guest whose face was painted with black boot polish. When the person awoke in the coffin, they often were in a state of terror, thinking that they had contracted typhus and died. In one such incident, a man who awoke in the coffin was so frightened that he had to be taken away in an ambulance. Unfortunately, the good times were not to last. In 1963, Mayor Jean Drapeau rezoned Griffintown as industrial and announced a project to build the Bonaventure Expressway right through the neighborhood. Many homes were demolished by the city or abandoned, and the area soon became a blend of industries, parking lots, and abandoned homes. Thousands of Griffintowners left the neighborhood to find work and lodging elsewhere. By 1970, the population of Griffintown had mostly disappeared. St. Anne's Church had virtually no more parishioners, so it was demolished and made into a park. The foundations of the church, however, were preserved, and benches were placed where the pews used to be. Today, the ruins of the church are a ghostly reminder of the Griff's old days as an impoverished community. Whether it's the tolling of the bells that no longer exist or ghostly funeral processions from days long gone, the wealthier new residents must contend with paranormal activities there. As for the former citizens who were displaced when the old hood was demolished in the 1960s, they claim that the Griff is the ghost of a neighborhood that just drifted away. The old parishioners still come to the ruins once a year on St. Anne's feast day, which is July 26th, to celebrate Mass in the open air. Like the crumbling ruins, the parishioners are aging, and one day this important religious event may come to a halt unless others join in and keep the tradition alive. If you're curious, this event is organized by the Ancient Order of Hibernians, and while it was canceled through pandemic era, it is active once again as of now. Unfortunately, many of the new residents of the Griff are oblivious to all of the important history that unfolded on the site, and the city of Montreal even replaced a plaque depicting the church in 2018 with one depicting the entire neighborhood instead. In an attempt to ensure that the park can visualize the magnificent St. Anne's Church, Haunted Montreal had asked City of Montreal councillors Craig Sauvé and Sterling Downey to return the original plaque or to add its historic image to the new version, but so far they have failed to do so. The ruins of St. Anne's Church are perhaps the best reminder of the old days when the Griff was a bustling Irish shantytown. While its memory may be fading, the spirits which haunt it most certainly are not. Are you a Montreal resident or perhaps a tourist who has experienced something strange near St. Anne's Park? If so, we'd love to know. As always, we want to know your theories about what could be going on. Thank you so much for stopping by. If this is your first video, I do hope that you'll stick around for the next one. We put videos out in both French and English every second Saturday. If you'd like to learn more about the organization founded by the talented Donovan King, it's all listed in the description down below, along with links to purchase tickets to in-person haunted storytelling experiences. Remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. We'll have a new video out in a couple weeks, but until then, stay spooky.